Hello, good evening, and welcome to another Thursday night open mic hour. Uh, what can I say about tonight? It's just, I think sometimes you sit back and you're in the background of a lot of things, and you see something in the news or you hear something, and you're like, oh my word. So this week, again, I'm not one for basically jumping on the bandwagon with anything, but when I heard the news that we was losing this. Amazing location off the circuit. Oh, just loads of memories just come flooding back, and that's what I wanted to share basically. And again, we'll have an interactive night, and we'll have a little chat about what you've come across and what you've experienced there, because I certainly know it's been an amazing place on the circuit. But as soon as I was thinking this the other night, I got the number two. So to me, whether this is going to be 2 years off the circuit, 20 years off the circuit, I know there was a number two definitely prominent around. It might be off the scenes for 2 years, 20 years. I don't know, but my gut intuition, I did feel it would be back on the circuit at some point. But I don't just want it to disappear without sharing some memories and some amazing locations. I remember the first time I was invited down there. It must have been, I think it was with the past team, and it must have been about 7 years ago. 6 or 7 years ago was the first time, and I've been there to the location about 15, 16 times now, maybe 10 times, 12 times, something like that. But it just seems to never fail. And when you just keep going back to a place, it just seems to evolve and bring more to the table all the time. And it's like every time it's on in the diary and it's getting closer, you just get more excited to be there, visit it, and experience what it's got to offer on the night as well. I've had some amazing EVPs. I remember being at the location, and I think we left about 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was about the rest of the team had stayed there till about 3. And it's not very often I'll go early from a location, and even an EVP came through. Where's Gary? Or where's Gary gone? And you're just like, wow, it's mind blowing. So I think we were back down there within a week or two as well. So anyone wants to come on live, there is a link on there to keep on chatting. And good evening and welcome for tuning in as well. And we will get some evidence coming on and some pictures. Again, the famous thing for me, even tonight, that 906 seems to be very prominent in and around what we do, and 609 seems to keep popping up. But when I've been looking at some photographs even today, just to do these sketches and stuff like that, all the clocks, and I know there's power in there, but all the clocks were virtually all different times as well. So even the clocks were broken, but the times are changing as well. So have a little look at some of the evidence there that's on Google, and have a little look at some of the photographs that you've got. And there is a couple of clocks there, but again, they don't seem to be showing the same times as well, which I found quite eerie today. Just even looking at some pictures for tonight to put in into the background as well. Good evening, Ed. Good evening, everybody. And that is definitely, as you say, Coops' number. And this has been very prominent all the way along since, like, me and Coops met, I think it was about 6 or 7 years ago, and 906 and 609 has been quite sticking out. But in and around with Drakelow, that's even come up, and I didn't even realise that I'd done that today. So that was quite significant as well. Right, where are we going? Good evening, Nick. I'm going to just flick down through there. Tash, what experience we had when we went there. Jess, just an amazing location. I do feel it'll be back on the circuit though. Again, time period, I'm not too sure. And some people have said it will be getting hired out for a wine cellar or a wine to store wine. But we'll see. And I remember about the third time I actually went to Drakelow, and I was with the lovely Pitch Black team, and we was on like the furthest wall in, and you could actually hear gunshots on a recording, and footsteps running. You could actually physically hear running, and there was about 5 or 6 in the group that recorded the EVP. And what happened there was the lady was just about to take a picture, didn't realize her phone was on video, and she actually recorded that. And that was one of the most amazing captures. So I remember going back to Drakelow maybe about a year or two back, and this topic and this subject came about again with some different type of evidence that tied into that, what we was getting with this, the gunshots and the noises, and a bit of altercation going on in there within the tunnels between 2 people. So that was very interesting as well. So how is everyone doing? Where you're all tuning in from? Hello, Leslie, Nikki. Gutted about Drakelow. It's been, yeah, and yeah, it was cold as well. And I think we were due back there about a week or 2 ago, and obviously it got cancelled and we were putting it back. And basically, it's just amazing place just to get back to. I'm going to bring our lovely Rachel in with me, who's waiting backstage, and she can share our experience with the Nikki that we had there as well last time. Good evening, madam.
Evening, young man. Are you well?
I'm all the better for seeing you.
I appreciate your lies.
I'm an honest liar. So, Drakelow, tell me more.
Yeah. Well, I've only done it the once, and that was with when I went with Wednesbury, and you were there and you got us lost. You said you knew where you were going, but you clearly had no idea.
And in mind, I had no torch, and I always go without the torch usually.
Yeah, and you made us go completely dark for a good 10 minutes, and when I turned the light back on, you'd all run away and left me there. So that was quite fun. You're a scoundrel.
I wouldn't do that, matey.
Yes, you would. You would. So did you get my my email then with the EVPs that I captured from Drakelow?
I certainly did, and I know our lovely Karen is moderating in the background, and we'll try and get 1 or 2 of them on for us in a second or so.
Yeah, fab.
I think she's just going to click in with them. I'm just going to press play again.
So there's no audio. So you can hear you in the background. So this was taken when we were down in sort of the control area, and it was playing over and over. And there was just Linda and I in that particular area, and you were in another room further away. You can hear yourself talking in the background, and there you can hear what sounds like "Let's Whisper." Yes. And these are taken on live photos on the iPhone. So then I've had to record it from there. That's why it's a picture at the top of my phone. But just from live photos, I always like to take a ton of photos, play them back, and some of the best EVPs I've ever got have been through live photos on an iPhone. So this was the first one. So this was in the control room, but we've got about 3 or 4 voices down that area, and I think most of them Karen have at the moment.
Yeah, I think we'll skip on to the next one.
Mm-hmm. Just a really weird mechanical noise in the background.
Again in that control room, it's the first time that I'd actually got into the control room to do some investigation, because we always go off either to the kitchen area or the tunnels or the escape route fire door, or down by the big entrance and exits, well, the tunnel exits that's been bricked up. We usually go, wander around, and we forget about little certain areas as well. So that was quite interesting that we got to that part of the tunnels as well. On the first EVP, I think I'd gone into the other room to set some equipment up, hadn't we?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. You'd gone ahead, and I was taking loads of photos. You'd stormed ahead and taken Nikki and the guests with you. So you were setting up, you're putting up some voice boxes, and you got the Ouija board out, and Linda and I were hanging back, and that's when we caught that first one of the voices. And that's actually the room where some of the beds are, one of the dormitories, and that's where that voice was taken.
And it was definitely Let's Whisper, wasn't it? Before I was talking in the other room, the other side of the corridor room of the where I was setting the equipment up.
Yeah, you can hear you echoing, and then in that live photo, you can hear it's really clear. It's like somebody's actually speaking right into the microphone, saying, let's whisper. It's really, really loud, you know, when you listen to it on my phone. So it's not a bad one, that one. It's quite impressive. And that second one, that mechanical, this one's weird. All answers on a postcard, what that is.
And that was all a silent moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were just where we were then is where they'd sectioned off the area where they were still refurbishing further down to the tunnel. Remember, all that dust was blowing in towards us, and it was a no-go area. They blocked it all off with tables, and we were just there. We were sat silently, and I was just taking pictures. And as I've played that back, I've heard that. And at first, I thought it sounded like somebody emptying a bottle bin, you know, in a pub. So it sounds like glass emptying. And then I think the more you kind of listen to it, it sounds like chains. It sounds metallic. I can't decide what that could be. But there was nothing there, and there was nobody around us. So it can't have been somebody near us, and it's not echoing enough for it to travel.
And I think if we remember rightly, just touching on from that, I think we was picking up stuff from where the safe room was around the corner as well. We was like drawn to there as well when that was going on. We was drawn to like the spirits, entities were trying to call us to the other where the safe room was, and all the keys were hanging up, or all the hooks were there, weren't they?
Well, what was weird is at the beginning of the night we'd headed to the kitchen, the canteen area. And I could hear some singing. If you remember, you were doing some calling out and you were doing your torch thing, you know, you like your red torch. So you were out with your red torch and I could hear singing, and I actually had to tell you to shut up. I was like, please, Gary, shut up, because I could hear a group of people singing down the corridor. No one else had heard it. And then when you played your audio back, you can faintly hear it. And then when we'd moved to completely the opposite end of the tunnels, that's when we then captured singing on another EVP on a live photo, and I think Karen's got that one as well. So that's the singing that you can hear. That's another one. See, I can't decide if that says we stand or Winston.
It does sound a little bit like stand, doesn't it?
Yeah, we stand. But it's not. There seems to be sort of the sharp sounds of the D in it. So it does sound a little bit like Winston. So again, undecided. But I always thought it said we stand. And again, that was caught down by the control room near the dormitories where the beds are. I was stood in front of the window with the camera, looking in, took the photo, and that's when it came up and said either we stand or Winston.
And also as well, when we was in that certain area, it was like there was still energies in the corridor as you walk around to it as well. Did we pick up on a male there as well? That was like quite authoritative.
A male came through straight away as soon as you turned on. I can't remember which device it was he used. I want to say necromancer, but it's not that. But as soon as you turned it on, a male voice came through and straight away said, Gary Fields. That was the first thing it came through and said. It was a Gary Fields. And he sounded really cross with you, so say, what the hell are you doing in my room? Off you go.
I think I was being told off to like clear off at this area or this segment. That usually does go on quite often, is because sometimes it's not, you know, we always welcome ourselves to the location and put ourselves there for the right respect and the right, you know, why we are there on the investigation and what we're there for. And again, it's that respect as well, isn't it? So
yeah, he didn't like you though. He didn't like you very much.
Well, we get that quite a bit where the ghost hunting as well. So
you like Marmite in life and death.
A few past lives as well. So again, I always found a cold, damp location as well. So we're going to play the next one as well.
That's the singing.
You can hear it on the back end of that as well. Something else coming in, can't you?
You can hear footsteps. In the photo I took after that, straight after, you could hear footsteps. It was like a shuffling, you know, that because it's very dusty, so you could hear the shuffle sound of the dust on the floor, and that was in the next photo. But that singing I could hear about 3 or 4 hours before up in the canteen area, and that's when I was like, please, everybody, just shush, I can hear singing. And then this one, when we took this is obviously, I don't know, it's a good half a mile away from where we were to start with. So it's that sound's carried, and that's in the space of sort of 3 or 4 hours. Of course, at the beginning of the night and towards the end.
And again, when you mentioned the kitchen area, all Linda said, it sounds like certain knives being sharpened as well.
Yeah, there was a weird metallic sound whilst we're up there, and then I think we were kind of distracted by it because you'd set up your motion sensor and a group had walked past. So we were listening to sounds and somebody set off your motion sensor. So I think we're all a bit jumpy on edge after that happened. A massive group of people walked by.
Oh, it certainly, it always fails. I know we've got people in the studio, so stay with us, Rach, because I know I'll bring Tash on in a minute. She wants to come through. She had some amazing experiences there as well, and she's also published some of them experiences in the book, so we can talk through that as well. And basically there, the medical room and the medical wing as well. That was amazing.
There was I think we actually heard some voices whilst we were down there, and there was something moving in the end of the corridor. That we saw something moving whilst we were down there. Tried to capture it on photo, and we put the torch on. We couldn't see anything at all, but you could definitely see something shifting. And as of course typical, you swoop round with a torch and everything's gone. So there's definitely some movement down there.
I have got some photographs, and when I finish, I'll put what, you know, Tash has done some pictures of drawings that she's seen spiritually and gone home and then drawn them later on. So we'll put them up as well of things that I've picked up on and all that as well. So we'll put them on the end in the comments on the end of the clip as well. Is there any more there to play, Kaz? Is there one more? Was there?
I think that was it. I think
okay. That's fine. Right, you're going to stay in there with us, Rach, and I'll bring our lovely Tash in.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Good evening. How you doing, young lady? Oh, I'll just put your mic on. There we go.
Yeah, I've got it on. Hello.
Yeah, you're okay.
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
I can safely say this is where we first met, wasn't it?
It was. Yes. It's an amazing place. One of my favourite, actually. It went from sort of like the creepy place to go to the absolute best.
and I find it has that aura about it of encapsulating your sensations of everything that's going on all around. It's like you've got to look what's going on in front, to the left, to the right.
Yeah. And it didn't matter where you were, there was always something just out of sight that just got you. So yeah.
Do you want to tell our lovely viewers some of the interactions and the experiences that open your eyes there?
Well, I'd had a couple of nightmares the night before I actually went, and then we were walking. I didn't mean to be in your little group. I got left behind when the tour went off because I was looking for something in my bag, and so somebody very kindly said, "We'll walk you down, and hopefully we'll pick up on where you're supposed to be." And then I came down into this little end corridor, and then there you were, and you were doing some experiments and stuff. So I just thought, oh, I'll just sit here and watch. And then the people that walked me down said, well, do you want to go back and find who you're supposed to be with, or are you going to stay here? And I was like, oh, stay here. And then sort of as we were walking away to find some other areas, that's when the back of my neck started prickling, and I was kind of like, okay, there's something here, but I'm not quite sure what's going on. And it turned out that the nightmare I'd had, the whatever it was, I did do a picture of it, was actually in one of there was like a cross tunnel, and it was down there, and it crept back up, and it scared me because I remember I remember you telling me you have to face your fears, and I was like, no, I'm not going to go down here.
And you certainly did. You certainly did do that on the night, is experiencing it. And I think you actually went above and beyond on experiencing that and going beyond it as well with what you've seen drawn and everything else around that. When you first picked up with us and we were in by the fire exit tunnel, wasn't it? Was you there on that occasion, Rach? Because I think it was twice I've met up with Tash there.
I don't know. I can't remember. When was it? January 2019. I think
something
that's when
like that. Yeah.
I with you.
I can't remember when it was. I've got a terrible memory. I do know that I started filming, and there was a tall gentleman with like a top hat or a hat that was quite tall on his head, and he was really big built, and he was kind of walking back up towards where you were sort of situated. I do remember that.
Yeah, and also as well, wasn't the I remember when I first went there, the first time I ever went there was a story about that door of objects and items being taken out unofficially on the back of being offloaded out the back exit, basically. And that seemed to tie in as well with the gentleman that came through. If I remember rightly, he had the braces on or something like that as well.
Yeah. With buttons or something shiny here, like silver, like the little denim type buckles.
Yeah, and I think you actually drew him as well later on, didn't you?
Yeah. So him and TikTok Man.
And TikTok, that was it, TikTok Man. But I think our Karen might have put some pictures up in the background if she's been able to load them, because they only sent them over quite late on, to be honest with you. So I'll see if our Karen's got any images of some of the energies and the entities that we've seen, experienced. And
it was funny because when I came back from that, somebody from another group messaged me, and the picture that I'd put up of the guy that we seen in the medical wing, she had an exact picture that she had drawn of him as well. Same face shape, the whole works. So
I mean, even I know even more towards one of the end of the last visits, it was like the energy and the entity, the weighted energy was keeping us away to the opposite end of the building as well. It was like, I know you're here, but I'll keep you further away as what I can. And then towards the end of the night, I said, I'm not going unless I've gone over there, and then we'll go and deal with what we're going to deal with as well. So again, some spirit energies there can play a lot of mind games as well prior to you going, and even when you're on the way there as well to that location. I found that certain energy and entity or shapeshifter would play a lot of mind games prior to getting there to that energy, to that location as well. just reading there. To me, the only downfall was the ladies' toilets, basically. And,
yeah, they weren't very nice.
Let's see where we're going. So, okay, Karen's got no pictures there, but I'll put them up on the end as well. And we've certainly experienced as well. We've because I've done like a lot of trance work there and tried to share my experience of the energies that's coming in and communicating with me. You certainly experienced that full on, didn't you, as well?
Yes.
I remember
walking along, and you turned to me and you said, "Would you like to meet a witch?" And I was like, "Yeah." That's the last thing I remember for quite a while.
And again, I do have a habit of that. Then I've asked and communicated with the witch and stepped in, and she came through actually prior to us going there to that location as well. A few visits before as well, you know. So that did tie in with me. And I think I always forget names, but I do remember it being Rosemary is very strong and dominant as well, and a few of our friends that's watching now have experienced that energy and entity of that communication with that spirit as well, which has been fantastic. What I did notice towards the end is some of the numbers were on the floor, you know, for the tunnel, like tunnel D and tunnel E or whatever. And I did notice that somebody had been playing around with a few of them towards the end of the night as well. So it did get a bit confusing on some of the investigations there. What would you safely say your best experience was there?
I think for me it was when I had to face the shadowy creature or whatever it was, because that was new to me. That it, you know, because I'd sort of seen some of it in the nightmare I had before I got there, and then to actually go through with it and not be the only one that kind of experienced that particular moment was kind of like, no, you're not going mad, this did happen. but that was, yeah, because there was a rope involved, and I can't remember who it was. Somebody stood in the corner and you could see the rope around their neck. They were up against a brick wall, and that bit did scare me. But I did put that bit in my book because it was that was pretty surreal, you know, because I wasn't the only one to see it. Everybody was kind of like, yeah, it is. It's there.
I think I was at a location and I seen this rope virtually drop beside me one day, and I just turned around and could see a rope very strong. So, also, Rach, do you remember prior to getting there? Do you remember on the approach to it before we actually went into the location? How strong it was outside before we've actually gone into the building?
Well, you'd messaged me beforehand saying, "Watch out for," I forgot what it is now, but you tend to send messages saying, "Watch out for this, watch out for that," and you said we're going to come across a woman, and she's in there looking for a man, and I think it was that he doesn't want to be found. So there was a woman looking for a man, and he didn't want to be found. So look out for that. And that was the night before we went. So we set off the next morning, and he sent the same message again. About 4 hours later, I was checking into the hotel, and he'd sent a similar message again. Look out for this woman. She's looking out for a man. He doesn't want to be found. So we'd never been before. So getting that kind of message and that kind of information straight away was like, well, here we go. We're in for a good night tonight.
It's always a way of wrapping up first and then letting things unfold as you go in and around the location as well. It's not about giving you information. It's just saying, please just be aware of, prior to getting there, you can be bombarded even walking down to it, even on the approach just down by this part here, walking towards the door. The amount of WD-40 I've put on that door trying to open the location, it's been amazing, but it certainly worked. It's certainly done the trick. I'm just going to try and see if there's any other comments or questions on there, folks, as well. Just want to see how David, what he's put on. The amount of times that we got lost, especially, you certainly do there as well. The first time I went, there was abandoned cars in there as well, towards the left-hand side. Round towards the exit tunnel, there was old abandoned cars all there, and then obviously they cleaned it out. So I'd spent ages the second time I went there looking for this abandoned car for this area. I was like, couldn't find this car, but it had been moved. So again, there has been many stories, and we also had the chap of the TikTok chap, didn't we? The timekeeper, or towards the end of the close of the door, the bricked up wall, wasn't there?
Yeah, he's got a little office there, hasn't he? And you could smell the was it spam or something that he had in his sandwich, and he was drinking something like gravy, or you know, the hot bisto-y stuff. You could really smell it in the air, and yet it was really dank and dusty in that part, which is really weird. But yeah.
And that came through. Even we didn't actually go into that little office that he was. We were just virtually stood at the doorway. You could smell I think there was a cigar smell or a cigarette smell as well, wasn't there?
Yeah. That followed us, didn't it? From I can't even remember where we were. There were so many tunnels, but from one area to another, it was almost like he was following us to sort of keep his eye on us. And every now and again, you just get this waft across you, and you'd be like, "Huh? What's?" You know, but it was there.
I also remember as well one of the my experience is you could actually feel the presence of an energy and an entity coming past on a bike. You know, like they would go round on a push bike in them days as well. And
Yeah.
every time I seemed to turn, and I think it was more by the crossroads area, I could see this bike. And I've certainly, the amount of times I've been there and people have experienced the collapse of the roof coming down and a couple of people trapped and that actually died within the building or the making of it. And when you're walking past that area, you watch for their mannerisms as well, of spirit coming in close, and you can see it affecting either the public or a member of the team as well. So a lot of people have experienced that as well. Just going to go on to the questions there. Jessica, we got lost in the tunnels, couldn't find our way back for 45 minutes.
Easy.
Yeah. I always say it's like a maze, but in a maze, if you keep your hand on the right-hand wall and follow your hand, it'll always come back. Either the middle of the maze will take it out. So that's always something I've learned as well about getting lost. But again, the tunnels never fail as well.
That theory didn't work last time, though. You got us completely lost. You knew where he was. You knew where you were, didn't you? It's like, yeah, I know exactly where I am. We were supposed to be somewhere completely different and ended up near the exit. So that was quite impressive.
Yeah,
but you knew where he was all the time, of course.
I always say go for equipment. I've always left some type of equipment down there as well. Saw a figure run past us, heading towards the door entrance, even though the door was locked. It had opened with such a frightening bang. All participants there were together. Drakelow, the bang again. The base room for safety. So they all went back to the base. I've had some amazing interaction in the hub and the base room. And all the locks were all closed as well. Again, as I first went there, originally, there used to be a generator in and around behind the canteen area. And I think that got taken once, so they never replaced that. But that hub always seemed to not fail in, I've had the chandeliers or the candle light holders on the ceiling moving quite often as well. I set a laser grid up there, a laser pen up, and it always seemed to go off when we was talking about a specific topic or subject that we'd had on the last session. It always seemed to trigger that equipment off behind the canteen counter. And I always found that quite interacting with, don't want to talk about that, move on, change the subject, change the topic, change the subject. I always feel like you couldn't mention a certain topic or subject. Right, okay. Anything else that you'd like to add, ladies? Maria, when I moved into my new house with my husband, okay, she must be talking about where they went, when they went. Can anyone hear a muffled voice as Tash is talking? That wouldn't surprise me in that house.
Sorry, I did apologise to her.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Definitely got, that's just covered that one. All these people picking in as well. All right, David, excellent. Good evening, young man.
Hello.
Good evening. Remember the bomb-proof door no one wanted to open, and we came out of that on the all-night event. It's been mind-blowing, and I'm going to welcome Lee in onto the conversation as well. Virtually the last time we was there, it intrigued us. This young man actually set a live up there, and it's the first time it's ever gone live in Drakelow, to getting up and running as well. And I was just intrigued because I'll always support people, as you know, and I was just intrigued to not as much start the investigation, but get the lives up and running for the power and everything. And how that man done that night, I don't know. Tell us your experiences of the tunnels, Lee.
My experiences, I had to say a good one was in the escape tunnel. We were down the end, Wednesbury Paranormal were there, and I was stood there with 3 to 4 other people and felt a presence behind myself. Literally turned around and did 3 little camera shots on the phone. And I've actually just managed to find the pictures.
Oh, even better.
Which I don't know how well it'll show up on here, but it might.
There we go.
So I turned around, literally a first snap, second snap, and third snap. So if I go back again.
Yeah.
So nothing there. Can you see the outline of a figure?
I can. It looks like it's got a blue top on.
And then again.
Yeah.
Looks like a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And looks like it's got like short sleeves there. Quite,
rolled up.
Yeah. Stockish.
Yeah, it's not exactly small, is it? He's huge.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh.
And that where was that on the escape tunnel, on the fire escape tunnel?
Yeah, the actual fire escape tunnel, and that was about, I think, 6 meters from the end of the tunnel itself.
And also as well, that's where we had the chat with the that was it's okay. That's where I felt that the stuff was going out the building, out the behind the scenes that people didn't know about.
Yeah,
being cargoed off. Because I'm sure we had a case with the Irish that they was getting ammunition out of there or something, or there was some parts or equipment was going out there and going to Liverpool and the docks, and then going over, getting shipped over to Ireland with backhanders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I just love how loads of stories tie in as well. Good evening, folks. Any questions? Put them down.
The motion sensors were crazy down that area as well, near those doors. Motion sensors just kept going off. They were nuts.
Because I put an iron table, didn't I, at the bottom of the corridor that leads into
it looked like somebody was sat on it at one point.
Yeah, and I'm sure we had something on the equipment, didn't we? Like go away or something like that. Wasn't that on one of your ghost box, or was that the one of the live?
No, that was on your voice recorder. We could all hear something coming from the back.
Yeah.
So there's something hung on the wall at the back. And it looks like some sort of rack or a chair or something. So we heard something. We all looked down that way. There was a table. It looked like somebody was sat on a table. Then at the opposite end near the doors, all the motion sensors and lights started going off. So it just all happened within a few minutes. We heard the voice, and it was like somebody just whizzed right past us, sort of every piece of equipment, and headed straight up towards the doors.
I also remember I took a member of the public, and I got them to hold my hands, obviously male and female. I said, there's a partnership down here spiritually that somebody didn't know about. And I virtually done a full overshadowing. And as we was walking back towards the group, we virtually overshadowed. And obviously I was the male, and the female that I was with, you could actually see all their clothing as we were walking back to the group. We got overshadowed, and you could see the full manifestation of the clothing that they had on from the time and the period as well. And you could actually hear somebody like in the group that we were walking towards. You could hear the gasps of them. Like you could see the lady's clothes it was just an amazing thing to experience and show people. But sometimes when spirit give you things to walk away from, turn around and then walk back towards somebody, because they're going, we're collectively down here, come and get us, and then we'll come and join you. So I've had experiences like that as well. I mean, even that's just an amazing capture as well, Lee. I've got certain captures as well. I'll add on to that again when we finish the live as well, and people can upload anything else that they've got as well. So any other questions there, folks? Anything else that you've got to add, Lee?
It's just a shame what's happening to the place, I think. It's we had a few things planned for next year, but now they're off the cards.
So we will. I do feel it'll be back on the circuit as well.
I hope so.
I do feel it'll be back on the circuit. When we was there last time, I felt like we needed to go up onto the top of the land and stand up on the top of the land to get more of a feeling for the either the circle or the anything in and around the witches' circle. We needed to pick up on a little bit more than that. And we always said when we go there, we wouldn't just go down to the tunnel, we'd go up onto the land and walk on the top and getting a little bit more of a feel for the energies that's above it there as well. And I just remember seeing the machinery spiritually working and stuff like that as well. It's just been mind blowing. Go on, Tasha was going to say.
Going to say there was one section that we were going along and I saw a huge truck and some kids were playing hide and seek underneath the truck, but they were loading. I don't know whether it was like the old coal sacks, but they were full of old bolts or bits of like metal that obviously they didn't want anymore, and they were loading it all up on the back of the truck. And I remember mentioning it to you, and you'd said that there would be trucks and things in there.
There certainly is, and over the time as well that we could hear certain noises, and I know people have broken into there, and I certainly know there wasn't people that were there when we were there that had broken into, but you could hear scampering away as well, couldn't you? Like one night it was like
kids being drunk.
Kids being drunk. That came out as well, didn't it? A few times. So the team were giving us that experience as well. When you go to by the crossroads area and you walk to the back wall, we certainly had some amazing experiences of. We virtually walked in. About 5 or 6 of us had walked into this back room, and you could see the energy in the doorway at the back of the wall, at the closest part of the tunnel. And then all of a sudden, it was like, I think it was Eddie, I said, oh, let's protect, you need to protect, put your protection up. And within five seconds of that, it just got drained and shattered. All the equipment had gone off, and you could physically feel him getting drained as well. So I think our Dennis is there. I'm going to bring our Dennis in as well. Has he popped off?
Well, I am going to take this opportunity to sneak off, I'm afraid.
Okay. So thanks for joining us, young madam. And if anyone wants to catch you, they can find you on Paranormal.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. See you later.
Yeah. I'm going to jump off as well, just for a short bit. Okay?
Yeah. More than welcome to come back in. Hello, Dennis. How are you, young man?
I'm saying you're right.
Yeah, all good, all good. Would you like to share some of your experiences of Drakelow, the amazing location?
I've looked at my I've got a logbook where I log everything up when I go everywhere, and I've only found out I've only been twice. I felt like I've been there a lot more. The first time I was in there, it was in the medical room. It's when I've just started out. It's probably like my 4th investigation, and in there I was with Paul, Joe, he used to be part of Spectre, and you just did the Ouija board, and I'm new to all of it, and getting built work on your sensitivity and that. And then it's the first time I've used the Ouija board properly, like, and I could just feel how cold I am. I had to keep asking them, "You're blowing on me? You're blowing on me?" I said, "No." I couldn't believe how suddenly cold I was, and I've got a hoodie on and everything, just absolutely freezing. And he was getting the name come through and all that, and they were saying, "Oh, he's here, he's trapped here," and they want him to move on. So they validated some things, and then they moved him on. So that was really cool, first experience. And like later on in the Demon Tunnel, that was a bit crazy for me. But the second time we went, I'd say we was there in the Demon Tunnel, and around there was someone said they can sense something negative down the lower tunnel, just going down, stand there. So Neil went and Neil went down there and stood there, and next thing you know, he starts choking. I said, "What are you choking for? Come up." And he says, "No, there's something there choking for me." and he had to come walk up the tunnel, and literally we had to check on him because he was choking, gasping for breath and that. And you couldn't believe what was happening to him. Like, and while we was there as well, I've got a video where he kept saying something's pushing him. It was all night. He kept saying something around him, pushing him. And I got a video, and it's where you can just see something just before he gets pushed, a little light flash. I don't know if Karen's got that one, where he gets just before he gets pushed. But I've recorded it on a pop and I have to take it on my phone off the laptop.
Yeah.
You might just be able to see a light. It might
just
flash there,
didn't it? Yeah.
And that's just before he gets pushed, like. And all night he was just getting pushed, pinched, everything. It was mad. And then there's another video I've got where Russ was talking to Joe and asked her about something around the tunnel, and she got the name Robert, and she wasn't there. And well, I was recording him while he had a speaker box on, and he actually picked up the name Robert. How it come through, and I think there's another video of that. And she did say it would have an accent, and that's, to me, that comes through as an accent. What we get from it, we get you saying Robert. So
it feels as well like there's energy bouncing from left to right as well, all around.
Yeah, it was crazy down there, like near the end, like when we left that area of the tunnel, we just seen a bright flash of light, and there's no electricity there, obviously, and all we just seen was the lights go green, red, and white, and there was a bit of blue there, and I just couldn't believe it. There's about 4 of us there can validate that happened. There's no explanation of it. Energy got that strong, and he was that angry. He was there that there's like a combustion of. He's just mad. It's a brilliant place, and I wish I could go more.
Yeah, again, Jenny saying that she couldn't breathe. She had the sensation that she couldn't breathe as well. So a lot of people have experienced that scenario of that going on as well, in and around as you're walking around. Again, even when you're walking past some of the little arch tunnels that might be the little corridors, it's like there's somebody down there. And as soon as you're walking past, you can feel the energy come out to see who's around and what's going on. Just had something going on there. Don't know what that was. The bottom of the kitchen. Hello, Eddie. Saying chap on the order on that video. Say again, Claire. It's all right. I'm just trying to catch up on what you're seeing as well. There's just so much going on there, isn't there, as well? I'm trying to think where there's another experience as well where a lot of people have experience of like needing to go out for the fresh air, even all times and all seasons, just to have that break and get that fresh air as well, and taking time out. You do need time out there and then going back in. So I do feel that a lot of people have experienced so much there. They have actually needed that break as well. I feel it's one of them locations that you've needed your breaks in as well.
Yeah, like I say, we're being fairly new and going there. I'm just still learning, and then having them experiences is brilliant. Like, it validates other things that people are picking up on. So it was brilliant.
It certainly is, and it's certainly one of the best locations on the circuit, wasn't it? So I do think it took us all by surprise this week as well. I do know that certain spirit energies come around prior to going to that location and have a little word with you sometimes. And did you feel or sense anything prior to going to the location? Your gut intuition around anything? Then
What, myself?
Yeah, did you feel uneasy prior?
First time I went there, I was open-minded. Second time I did, because I kind of knew what I'm getting into. But we went to different areas the last time, and it just seemed a lot more active for me personally, anyway.
And I do feel that there's so much more to come out of there as well. There is so much more stories to tie in, spirit location, spirits, energies to come forward and give us their in-depth information around themselves as well. But I think the earliest time period was picking up on there. I know it's not very old, but from the land as well. I think I was picking up 1880s, I think, was one of the energies that was certainly picking up from, even though the tunnels aren't linked with that date. It's just the lie of the land as well, because I feel it's very strange when you go there. One of the first times my sat nav took me past it and said Drakelow tunnels was 6 miles out. And when I went 6 miles out following it, because that was one of the first times I'd been there, and I was like 6 miles away from the location where the sat nav had took me to, when I got back, I felt like they were the people that was getting stuff out the back door that were saying, right, we've put that off for 20 minutes or 30 minutes. He's back now. Come on, we'll clear it off. And that was my first experience of Drakelow, was being sent on a little bit of a wild goose chase to keep me away for another half an hour, while I went past it 6 miles and come back to it. And then that tied in with the energies that was getting stuff unofficially timed spiritually out the back door as well. So that was just mind-blowing as well, where I was going, right, I know why you sent me on a little bit of a wild goose chase there and kept me away for another 15 minutes. By the time I'd come back, it was half an hour. They were getting stuff gone. When we first come out the hub and you've got the barracks and all that, we'd done a board in there. Now, that is one of the most places I've ever seen a talking board be as active as what it was with the information that was coming out, and there was a very strong presence there at George. So did you find anything in and around the barracks area? Did you get time to go in there, any of you?
I didn't so much, no, but I didn't really spend so long in there, to be honest.
So I think we've got another video here. I think this is me and Karen just meandering around having a chat on this one. I'm going to see. I think something just comes down beside us there. That again could have been off the ceiling, but in the pitch black you can't see that, but we know there's something around us. And there's no noise to that landing. There was no noise for that landing. We didn't even know. Somebody else had captured that as well. So it's just like there's somebody around us. What's going on? And you know that's not as much as a what is that? You know, it's just something quite simple that's around you, but there's no noise to that. So I'm not hearing a noise and looking around. You know something's going on. Do you know what I mean? Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
I've seen a few people actually not run out there, but virtually get out there as well and scamper off as well. It was on. There's certain people that have got certain other evidence, which is on old equipment as well. I mean, I found. Go on. What have you got, Tash?
So I've got some of those pictures. So
excellent. Excellent.
That's TikTok man.
Yeah.
I've got the thing by the brick wall.
I think I remember seeing that one. Yeah. You drawing that, yeah.
And I got this. There's somebody else in one of the other groups. Drew him too, yeah.
The same picture.
Yeah. And then we had the shadow twisty thing that followed us up through. Yeah. That's really spooky. That was what I seen in the nightmare before I went.
And that was the one that really freaked you out, wasn't it?
Yeah. That one.
That was another form as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's the one where I was walking backwards out of the tunnel. Like, I'm not going to go any further because I couldn't figure that one out. And that's Rosemary.
That's Rosemary. A little basket there as well, isn't it?
Yeah, she had a thin gauzy grey piece of fabric that she laid over the top of it, and she was eating something that was a bit bitter.
That's your TikTok man, isn't it? Sorry, it's the wrong way up.
Yeah, and he had his sleeves. He had the sleeves rolled up.
Yeah, like what?
Like in that picture we seen just now.
And that was in the same area, wasn't it? By the escape door.
Yeah, which is weird.
I can't get that right.
And he was a big bloke too. He was intimidating because he'd come up and go tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, and make you want to sort of walk fast down and keep going to wherever you had to go.
When I was doing some transfiguration work there, I knew there was an energy to my left-hand side behind me. Now, this might be very hard to see, but there's actually a chap. Hold on. Can't see it. There's actually a shadow there. See him?
Yes.
See to the side of the light.
What's he got in his hand?
I don't know whether it's a dog or what. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But he was actually a huge figure.
Turn on the oil light, is it?
No, there you go. There it is again. I've actually transfigured him through. I think he was a boxer, but you can see it a little bit closer there as well.
That's weird.
And you see the dog towards the side of me. That's the shapeshifter.
Yeah, man.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
That's the shapeshifter there to the side of me, trying to portray itself as something else.
Oh, I got shivers.
And then that's the size of it, folks. If people haven't been there, obviously that is the size of the tunnels, and I think that's just some of the amazing stuff that we've come across, and I think that was a bit better picture closer up. See the dog, the legs on the dog.
Yeah.
That's just the shapeshifter trying to portray itself as another energy. And this came swirling towards us, this one. That energy entity came swirling towards us. So that was like trying to do that as well, like trying to really bombard us.
It's almost like there's like one set that welcomes you in there, and then there's another set that's kind of like, nah, we don't want anybody here.
Plays the games, doesn't it? It's when you're walking through it at different parts of the night. Sorry if I've lost any of the comments, folks. I'm just trying to show you some of the experiences that we've come across and all that there as well. Definitely a lot of huge characters there as well. Hello, Jennifer. Black market, what did we say now? Jennifer's only tuned in, and I was talking about black market stuff going out the back doors, didn't I? And trade and all that. Don't know about the sex trade type of thing, but I think ammunition, there was products going out that wasn't being signed for. And again, Claire saying about the lizard monster. And again, that energy and entity in the hub would go across the ceiling and go behind the counter as well, and just seem to, it would come through the walls as well. It'd be on the other side of the wall when you're walking around, and it'd be following you just to try and drain you as well.
Yeah.
The amount of time that's come across. Sorry, I don't know what Claire's put on there now.
There's a couple of comments.
So obviously, Claire, when we've done development class as well, Claire's actually seen that energy and entity that I've described as well on development night and the development class. The security guard, David, in the kitchen area, and the dog with him as well. Yeah, that's more to the one where that big beam of light is, but the one where I'm standing there and that dog's flying around as well. The shapeshifter just tries and portrays itself in so many different forms and so many different ways. And I think we've got our lovely Dave and Jess trying to pop in now, so we'll have a little word with them.
I'll let them pop in and I'll pop out.
And
Thanks for
me.
your time, Dan. Are you going as well, Trish?
Yeah, I will. I'll leave you
Tash.
to it, mate.
Tash, sorry. Where can anyone get your books as well so they can have a little look at that?
They're on Amazon. If you've got the name of them, otherwise just pop over to my my author page, Tash Brown Author, and then you can get them through me. They're on there.
All right, and thanks for sharing your experiences as well. This is
That's
what I
all
want,
right.
the more interaction of people that's experienced these things and what they're going through as well. So it certainly ties in with a lot that we've come across, and thanks for your time.
That's all right. Have a good evening, everybody.
And you too. Thanks for being part of it. And thank you, Dennis, young man.
See you later.
Take it easy. Right, I'm just going to see where we're going now. Hello, everyone. And our Jolene, she's certainly had some amazing experiences there as well in the tunnels. But as again, I always feel if one door's closed, another one opens. So hopefully we'll get another fantastic location on. Just going to see, here they are. Just going to bring them on now. Oh, right, okay, sorry. Sticky thing. Good evening. I'll unmute you. There we go. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
There we go.
How's that?
Good evening.
Is that any
Good
better?
evening. Good evening.
Hello, how are you?
Oh my word! How do some of them captures? I mean, like Lee capturing that, and then obviously Tash has had that picture drawn, and then we've got similar chap there with the braces that other people have drawn as well. Tash drawn him as well, and Lee's captured that as well. It's just amazing how all that ties in as well. And when you haven't been to certain
There's
parts
some
of the
amazing
club,
evidence.
Awesome evidence there. Awesome.
It's just
we ourselves have seen like a. Sorry, guy.
Go on, Kyle.
Our internet is struggling just a tiny little bit, so we might be a little bit behind.
I was going to say that drawing of Tasha's. Pretty sure I'm not sure if it's the same thing, but we did see a security guard down by the kitchen area. He was holding like a lantern. He walked through the tunnel at the very end of the kitchen. I literally seen him walk straight through the wall. He had some kind of dog with him. I'm not sure if it was like a Alsatian type dog. But the group we were with, because we was with like 10 people, and every single person saw the same thing. Unfortunately, we didn't catch it on camera.
Just trying to get the angle of the light right.
It was a lantern. It was very similar to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And like the dog on the side.
And yeah. Very, very similar.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's the same shape shifting.
It's really weird because like we all went down to have a look as well, and there was no one there. There was nobody around.
Again, what I feel with the place is it comes through at different times of night. So if you get, sometimes I've been there when we've done filming or something like that, we've done some other stuff, and I've been there at like 6 o'clock at night. But as soon as you walk in the place, it feels like 2 o'clock in the morning. So you get the time, you get the time zone at different times. When you're even walking in there, it's like
you also kind of forget all about time when you're down there, because you just forget. You literally forget. You don't know what's daytime, what's nighttime. I mean, we did a whole night there till 8 o'clock the next day, and you would not have known what time of day it was.
Even when I've been in the medical room and that, I've had some amazing evidence come through there, and chaps in the corner watching us and what you're talking about. Make sure you don't mention this and keep things quiet. Even in there, we've had all the smells coming through of the medical side of it, and in that medical room as well. And I mean, I know we've had some footage. I know Eddie's recorded a lot of footage of the stuff that's gone on there as well. And it just seems to be, when you go out of that room, is a different time zone again from the time of the day that you're actually there. So if it's 8 o'clock at night then, or 10 o'clock at night, it feels again oh, it's a Sunday night or a Friday night, because sometimes we've had a few characters there that's had a few drinks of a night that shouldn't be on a late shift, and that type of scenario as well. So you get a feel that when you're walking around, it's like, oh, this feels like a Friday night now. This feels like 2 o'clock in the morning and everyone's quiet and they've had a giggle and a laugh and a joke, and you feel like the night shift crew are on, but it's the weekend and there's not many people there as well. So you get it just grips you, doesn't it? It just grips you.
Yeah,
it does. We've experienced. It was on free time on an event when we were down there. We went off to the medical room, where the 2 beds are.
everyone had gone to the main part of the tunnel.
A lot of the other people disappeared. They went off in different areas of the tunnels. So we were the only 2 in the medical room. We had pieces of equipment set up on the beds. We sat kind of diagonally from each other in the room, and all of a sudden I had something thrown at me, and it was like some sort of pebble or stone or something, and it actually bounced off the bed. I heard it bounce off the bed, and it was actually, I thought it was getting quite menacing, so I kind of stood up and we sort of took that as a sign to say, look, okay, we're probably not wanted here. Let's move on to a new area.
Yeah,
go on, Jess.
I was gonna say he didn't seem that. I don't know. It was definitely a guy, and yeah, he wasn't happy that we were there.
It certainly portrays that way, as even when you're walking around, it's like you get a tap on the shoulder. What you doing here spiritually? It's like, what are you doing here? And it's like you're getting a dressing down as well. You're getting a telling off as well spiritually. Also, Jennifer there, she's just saying, is that the place that you can't go live? When Lee was on there before, he was one of the only people that's been able to set up a live down there. So Lee has conquered that, and he's done that, and that was amazing to be part of that night as well.
That was impressive.
That was good.
I think you mainly get signal, I think, by the girls' toilet, and I think it's by the main entrance.
Do you know what?
The only 2 spots you get signal.
When I come out the hub and I turn right to go out the exit towards the gents, basically, in that little square there's quite a lot going on spiritually as well. It's like portals are opened in there, and I've seen and sent stuff, and one of the pictures that I took a long time ago that I haven't come across for ages, when I come out the hub, this energy just come towards us like it has done in the past. It's like, just seems to come forward and get in your face as well. So sometimes it's like, oh, back off, just leave me for 10 minutes. But I've seen took a lot of pictures around that area, and a lot has come and manifested basically, but not in an outline, but just a swirl of energy as well, which is, it's just amazing how it comes about.
Yeah. We've also seen, again, it's another section, bound by security. We were setting up to do a Ouija board down there, and I just turned around to take a piece of equipment out of my investigation case, and as soon as I actually turned around, and I physically saw the case slide across the floor in front of my eyes. I couldn't believe what I was actually witnessing. I don't know if I was maybe, I don't know, I thought I was maybe like tired or something, and maybe I'm not seeing this, but I actually seen the case slide across the floor, and I just heard it, and it was incredible. It's a shame we didn't have it on camera. Again, it's those kind of moments that you wish you could have had a camera set up and proved it to other people, but it was incredible. And the shadows and everything we've seen down in those tunnels.
Oh, that camera did not like either.
And our camera drained as well. Which is
5 minutes on.
I remember when you come out the hub, and I'd set my laser. We'd walked off left where the old machines used to be, and we'd walked off left where the old machinery used to be, and I set the laser grid up, and another group had gone towards the exit door to the left. And one of the amazing pictures I ever seen was of the laser grid, how it was set up, and it just boomed the whole tunnel up. But somebody else had took a photograph as they'd walked past when we were working. And again, there was even stuff going on there. It wasn't going through the laser grid, but it was all around us. And I know it wasn't showing up or appearing, but you just knew the spirit energies were there working and communicating with you. But it was, again, it's that oh, I needed that piece of equipment, or I needed infrared, or it just seems to be where they play games and it's like, right, we'll go and get that, and then something else is going on, or you move to another location, and it just as well seems to be, there's been so much stuff captured there, but there's so much going on trying to interact with you as well and get your attention. It's like, if you could have every piece of equipment you've got all at once, that'd be great, but set out in the whole place, if you get what I mean. So everything, any piece of equipment anyone can get, set it all across the place. And, you know, I've seen drone footage in there being taken and stuff like that. And even from just a drone footage going down the tunnels, it's like, oh, I'm sensing, I'm picking up on this, but you can't see anything, but you know there's a spirit energy there. It's just, to me, it's just been mind-blowing even talking about it again this evening.
It's just a very atmospheric place. As soon as you walk in, like you say, it's just the smell of the place as well. It's got that kind of damp, Fausty kind of smell to it. The old kind of takes you back in time when you go through there. It's amazing. But we've got lost in the tunnels so much.
It took us ages to get back out.
Once it took us about an hour to get back to base, purely because we were down at Adit D. We were guided down to Adit D because it's a place directly above the graves, apparently.
Yeah.
And there's quite a lot of activity that way. And I also seen two shadows, one after the other, go from left to right, straight through the walls. And again, there was these red chairs down there, like school chairs. And again, they were sliding around down there. We could hear it. It was just me and Jess down there, and it was incredible. But we couldn't find our way back. We tried it literally took us an hour. They had to come find us in the end because we were
lost. We got lost.
We were in a bit too deep.
Like the alley D, or that part of it where the graves are above. I think that's why we're drawn spiritually to go up on top of the land, is to get more of the story that's virtually investigate on top of it as well, to come across Rosemary and come across other energies there that want to communicate with us as well. When Rachel,
is there any way of getting up to the top? Just so you may not be able to investigate the tunnel, but maybe above.
When I've been to the main entrance and around it, it is obviously fenced, but I don't know what it is. It's like Pendle Hill. It's like there's certain areas you might be able to get in. You'd have to virtually Google Earth it and then just see if there's a walkable approach up
as a walk-in. To
the top of it. I would say that, but obviously if it's not fenced off, then I wouldn't recommend it. Obviously, we'll professional. When Rachel came on at first, this is what I was saying about when we were drawn to the safe and there was diamonds, or there was some type of object taken. And I think if I remember rightly, somebody had something in the mouth, if I remember rightly, when we was there. But that was more in the key section, and something was being secured later on in its day there. And I felt something had been taken and pinched then. So that would tie in with what we was talking about earlier on with the diamonds and certain things being stashed and stored. I wouldn't say like gold, but there was something quite precious held there for a few days, a few weeks, or something like that was quite secured. Trying to remember it all. I'd love somebody to document all the stuff that we do come across, but there's that much when you on an investigation. Again, I don't do any history. Have you guys done any history on there? And obviously we know it was that type of machinery or ammunition. Have you done any more research into the place?
No, only that it's World War II tunnels. We didn't actually do much history on the place. Certain locations we go to, we'd like to get a little bit of information just so we know what we're going in with. Not obviously too much, but it's just when you do get EVPs and things like that, you realize that you're actually talking to the people that
been documented.
It's been documented. And especially if you get names and things like that, it kind of tallies with the evidence has already been found. We don't want too much information.
Yeah, obviously, but I mean, Jolene's been there many times, and taken one of the amazing captures that she's describing an energy and an entity there, and a spirit energy. And then she's taken a photograph, and the person that she's drawing about, it's as clear as it's one of the most clearest pieces of evidence I've seen on a photograph, where you see certain things and you're trying to work the image out, but to see the person that somebody's describing, it is mind blowing. You can't buy that as a paranormal investigator or a researcher or anything to do in and around the team that you're linked with. And they come up with this evidence. It's just going back over that now, that's over 6 or 7 years, some of them photographs as well. So other people and other teams that's been there, it certainly lives up to its location, doesn't it?
It does. I would say that the large majority of people that have actually been there have all had an experience. It's just one of those places that I don't think you'll ever find a place like it for activity.
I'm just reading the comments as well. Tasha's going to post some more videos up as well. She shared one onto my page that was doing a bit of interaction with some spiritual work, bringing the energy around the people's aura as well. So I have put that on my page a couple of days ago, but it's just nice to see when people have got certain equipment out and they're recording it and they've got the documentation of it. It's just like amazing. I know we're coming up quite to what we're doing now, 1 hour and 20 minutes. Is there anything else that you'd like to add on? Where you're saying that there might not be anything else that lives quite close, coming up to them expectations of Drakelow tunnels, I do feel that there's something new on the horizon that will, before I was getting one door closes, another one opens. It's like I feel that there's a that we're going to come across, and someone's going to go, because of the situation we've been through in the current climate, I think somebody else is going to start opening the doors now and going, oh, we'll invite the paranormal teams, will the team shares, and we'll bring them in. I do feel there's a location waiting for us that's going to welcome us with open arms.
There's loads of locations out there though that don't have the teams in, and hopefully those locations will start thinking, actually, do you know what, maybe we should get those teams in.
Yeah, because
there's one down by us.
Yeah, it's a shame it doesn't get. I don't think they let it out to the public that it's actually that haunted.
It's so haunted.
But it's so haunted, and it's such a shame because it's the 13th century in, and we've been there and stayed there ourselves. And
there's been times that
there's a lot going on.
I remember I sat there and I had like a major headache. I felt physically sick. It wasn't until we left the room that all that subsided. I went back, the headache was there again, and then everything just went mad.
Again, it was used as a Judge Jeffrey's courtroom as well, so they've still got the.
Don't tell me anything about it, because you never know, I might end up walking past there, because I feel he was quite.
We won't tell you the name.
No, we won't tell you.
Right, again, we've got any shows that have you got a slot this week coming up?
Not this week, it's next weekend. That one's with Tom Warrington, the author, paranormal author. So that one we're really looking forward to.
Yeah, we'll be with him at
7 o'clock on Sunday, that is.
Okay, Saturday night we've got a one-off special with the lovely George there.
And George.
Yeah, our lovely George.
He's lovely.
So again, Saturday night, I think it's 9 o'clock UK time, and I look forward to that as well. So please, folks, if you're watching the end of this video and you're watching the end of this, it is repeated on YouTube, hopefully. Anywhere you'd like to see us to go, or any recommendations, put it out there. You know, this is what it's about. We'll try and get out and investigate it, try and get some pictures taken as well, because we like sharing what we're coming across, and that's what it's all about. And I've had people saying it's amazing that you share stuff. I feel it's hard when people don't share their stuff, they're getting knocked or criticised. The stuff that I've seen in Drakelow tunnels, it's been mind-blowing. It is in the top 5 in the UK.
Definitely. I mean, we've been to the obviously the prisons and things like that. That's probably our second favourite, especially like Shrewsbury, Chepstow Mallet Prison. Again, they're action-packed. Given the right night, it's really good.
Right. I think we're going to say good evening, and we will catch up for the next shows over the next few days and all that. So thanks for coming on. Thanks for being part of it. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Gary.
Gary.
I just love your passion. And when I sit back and I listen to people and you can see the passion coming through, that's what I love.
Yeah.
You just can't buy that. So well done yourselves as well. And thanks for joining me.
Thank
Thank you, lovely.
See you later, darling. See you later.
See you later.
Bye.
Right, I'm going to say good night. Thanks for joining me as well. And again, we'll find another topic or subject for the open mic hour next Thursday night. Again, inbox me. What do you want to talk about? Be part of it. This has been great. It's the interaction. You've seen other people's side of it. I'll just sit here and talk all night, as you know. But again, when you've got the interaction, it's all about you. It's not all about me. And again, it's sharing your experiences, and that's why we do the paranormal, and that's why we get out there and try and cover as much as we can. So I'm going to say good night and thanks for watching.